Okay, we're going to work through the solutions for the reject or not to reject worksheet. Um, so I guess we got a little bit of a Shakespeare theme going on here. Yeah. All right, so Juliet has made the claim that the men in her hometown are on average taller than 72 inches. So we need the null and the alternate hypothesis. So this is number one. The null hypothesis here is always an equivalence statement, so we're going to say that the mean of the population is 72. The alternate hypothesis here is the actual claim, which is that the mean is greater than 72. Okay, is this a left-tailed, right-tailed, or two-tailed test? Because the alternate hypothesis is a greater than statement. It is a right-tailed test. And ultimately, we have a little bit more information here. A sample was taken. Romeo himself, 5'9", took a simple random sample of the heights of 49 men in Juliet's hometown, and the sample had a mean of 71 inches with a standard deviation of 3.5. Given this information, he is 95% confident that the mean of the population is between 69.995 inches and 72.005 inches. Now you'll note that 72 is on that interval. So in this case, it's possible for the null hypothesis to be true. So we fail to reject the null hypothesis. All right, so this is part A, part B, and part C of question number one. Okay, so we're moving from Romeo and Juliet to Hamlet in question number two. Hamlet thinks that less than 10% of the leaders of Denmark are people willing to kill a close relative over a domestic dispute. All right, so this is a statement about something that's qualitative. So we're talking about a proportion here, and it's an inequality. It's less than, so the proportion is less than 10%, right? Which means that the null hypothesis is 10%, right? Because we're less than here, we want to say that this is a left-tailed test, right? So this is part A, and this is part B, and then we've got some more information. The analysts Rosencrantz and Guildenstern took a simple random sample of 100 Danish leaders and found that the actual proportion of empowered Danes willing to kill a close relative over a domestic squabble is between 12.2% and 27.8%. So you'll notice that 10% is not on that reality. So we do actually have to reject the null here. We reject the null hypothesis because there's no way it could be true. Now, this doesn't mean that his claim is true, okay? Because obviously the interval we have here is higher. So that's a unique circumstance where we do reject the null. But we'll kind of take a look at that situation a little bit later on. But this is part C, right? Part A, there's your null and alternate hypothesis. This is a left-tailed test, and we are rejecting the null hypothesis. Let's go with part 3, right? Number 3. So now on to much ado about nothing here. Beatrice believes on average Benedict makes a fool of himself 7 times a day. So this is a claim about a mean. This is a quantitative claim. The mean is that he actually makes a fool of himself 7 times a day. So the alternate has to be that he doesn't, right? We've got this here. So this is going to be a two-tailed test, right? Because it's a not equal to. And then, so this is part A, this is part B, and then they give us some additional information. Should Hero accept or reject the null hypothesis stated above, or fail to reject it? Hero decides to test this claim by observing Benedict for 36 days. Yeah, she's bored. Maybe she's socially isolating here. I don't know. She concludes from her observations that the actual mean of Benedict's foolish actions is between 5.7 and 6.3 times per day, which this interval does not include 7. So we reject the null. We reject HO, right? Beatrice is being a little bit harsh about Benedict. Hero has proven that he's not quite such a fool. All right, so that's what we've got there. That's part C of number 3. And then we'll move on to number 4. All right, so number 4, we're going to move on to Julius Caesar here. All right, Brutus is convinced that more than 95% of the Roman Senate would be in favor of Caesar's death. So we have a null and an alternate hypothesis. This is a quantitative claim, so we have percentage is going to be higher than 95. The null hypothesis is that it is 95. We have a greater than there, so this is right-tailed. So this is part A. This is part B. C is that we got to get the information there, right? Cassius takes a simple random sample of 81 Roman senators and finds that the actual portion of the Roman senators who would be in favor of Caesar's death would be between 92 and 100. And clearly 95% is on that interval. So we have to fail to reject R-E-J, E-C-T, the null hypothesis, okay? So that's, because the null can actually be on that interval. 0.95 is definitely between 0.922 and 1. All right, so that's my part C of the problem. We'll get into next session about, how does this play out with respect to what does this mean for the claim itself? And how do you interpret the claim once you have made a decision about whether you're rejecting or failing to reject the null? All right, so there you have it. Hope you're happy and safe and healthy, and hope to see you soon.